Hi, welcome back to One Dish, Two Ways. Today we are doing hummus 3 ways with something to do with each of the hummuses. So stay tuned for this extravaganza. So first, let me tell you what I did ahead of the video. So I did 2 things. I roasted a head of garlic. So I peeled it because I'm going to use this for multiple ones. I did a poblano pepper and I did 1 bell pepper. Roasted those for about 30 minutes on 400 degrees, and I'll definitely have that in the comments. The other thing I did was I cooked 1 pound of chickpeas in my electric pressure cooker. Now, there was a lot more water when I cooked them, but I took most of that off, saved it aside, because I'm going to be able to cook that down to make aquafaba. When you buy a can of chickpeas, that liquid in there is called aquafaba. When you make it in your Instapot, it needs to be cooked a little bit more so that you can put it in the fridge and use it for other things. But I do have some of it. I have some of it here also, because instead of using tahini, which is a traditional ingredient for hummus, I want to make these low fat so I can because that's the journey I'm on right now. Once I've lost most of my weight, then I might put a little tahini in. But for right now, I'm trying to do the lowest fat. So I'm going to use the liquid, the aquafaba, as some liquid if we need it for the hummus. So the first hummus we're going to make is spinach artichoke. So it's going to taste just like spinach artichoke dip. So if you didn't do, it'd be 1 can of chickpeas, which is about 1.5 cups. That's what I'm trying to say. So I've got my food processor here. It's just a Ninja. It's not anything high speed or, special. So I got 1.5 cups. I'm draining them some in the pan, but we need some liquid to get this process started. So that's what we're going to do there. So we've got the 1.5 cups of the chickpeas. I've got a teaspoon of lemon juice, a 1/2 cup of cooked artichoke hearts, which I got just in the can, in water, not oil. I'm going to grab some spinach, nice handful of spinach. There we go. Maybe a little bit more. Can't go wrong with spinach. Such a good veg. And 1 of these garlic cloves, the roasted garlic cloves. And a little bit of paprika. I'm just going to do a couple dashes of it. And then we're going to get this started. Now, my food processor is loud, so Joe will speed up through this and I won't talk so that you don't have to worry about missing anything. Now, one thing I'll tell you is if I see that it's not blending well enough, I'm going to open this up right here. I can pour a little bit of this aquafaba in. So that's what we're going to be doing. But you want hummus to be smooth. You don't want it to be chunky. And sometimes the key to that is you just have to blend it a little bit longer. It just depends on your machine, but you want it smooth. So we're going to get this started now. Nope. Just like with most things, when you're using a food processor or even just baking or anything, you want to come in here and push all this down so that you get everything. And as you saw, I was watching this and it wasn't really blending well, and I just kept adding more of the aquafaba because you need that liquid to get it to blend. So I'm going to add a little bit more aquafaba and then turn this on for probably another minute to get that really smooth that we want. So that went for another 90 seconds, which is just what it needed. You should be able to see here now. I'll put this up, how smooth this is. So I remember the first few times that I made hummus, I did not wait long enough. It just takes time to let it get it smooth, because that's what you want, is smooth hummus. So what I'm going to do with the spinach artichoke one is when I first made this kind of hummus, I thought, well, let's make it into two of the best appetizers ever, which is spinach artichoke dip and stuffed mushrooms. So I've got some white button mushrooms here, and I took the stems out, kept them in the fridge. I'll use them for something else later this week. And I'm going to put some of this hummus right here inside the mushrooms, and then I'm going to have Joe put them in the air fryer to get them to bake while we make the other hummuses. So this is my suggestion for what you can do with the spinach artichoke hummus, in addition to just eating it regularly. I mean, these are just suggestions of things that you can do with the hummus. Why not make a delicious appetizer? So Joe, if you could put that in the air fryer for me. You can put it on for about 12 minutes and we'll just check it after that. So that's hummus number one. So let me go ahead and get this. I only have one food processor, so I need to clean this up. So we'll be right back and I'll get to the next hummus in the group. And in case you're wondering if you should stick around, the next one's going to be roasted garlic and pepper hummus. And then after that, it will be a jalapeno and cilantro hummus. So I'll be right back. Welcome back. So I've got clean food processor, another cup and a half of chickpeas in here. So whether you do it in your Insta cooker or a can of chickpeas, again, save the water. This one is going to be roasted bell pepper. So I roasted one. You can also use the jarred ones. If you're going to use the jarred ones, I would say a cup to a cup and a half. And we're going to use almost all this garlic. When I used to buy it from the store, they had a 4-pack and it was roasted garlic, jalapeno, and cilantro, regular, and the red pepper. And I always thought the roasted garlic was just a little too strong, but the roasted red pepper wasn't enough. So I thought, oh, why don't I make it at home and combine the two? Hence this recipe. So that's why I started doing that. Lemon juice, another teaspoon of that. This one I want to add cumin to add a different depth of flavor. I know that seems like an odd spice for it, but I think it really does something for it. So I've got probably about a teaspoon of that. And now we're going to blend away. And I've got more of the aquafaba if I need this to need more. So let's do this. As you saw, I didn't have to add as much liquid to this one. So it just really does vary on what your flavors are going to be. Yeah, I think this needs to, you can see not all my roasted red pepper is broken up. So we're just going to push this down a little bit. Oh my gosh, it smells so good. And we're going to pulse it for another 90 seconds. Or not pulse it. We're going to actually blend it for another 90 seconds. And Joe can speed through it for you. Okay. Now, this is the way it should be. You see that? That is perfect. And it smells so good. So this one, I'm going to serve as a dip. So at the end, after I get all three done, I'm going to show you each of the three. So this one, I'm going to go ahead and put in a container. And then I'm going to clean all this up. And we're going to do the last one. And then we'll show you how we put it all together. So we'll be right back. Welcome back. Last hummus of the day, and then we're going to try all three of them. Well, I will try all three of them. So first, I want to give you an update. So out of that pound of chickpeas that I did in the Instapot, I've done 3 1.5 cup hummuses, and I've probably got another 1 cup of chickpeas in here. So I will be freezing these, and that way they're ready to go for anything that I want to do in the future. Okay? And let's talk about, I said I was going to do a cilantro and jalapeno hummus. But what happened is, I don't know if you've ever heard of flash food. It's around the country. I don't know if it's outside. I know it's in Canada because Plant-Based with Jeremy talks about it. But it's your local stores, and you just go on the Flash Food app, and then you find a store near you, and they have produce. They have other things besides produce, but I use it for produce that's going to be going bad in 3 to 5 days. And they put it in a box. It's random stuff, and it shows a picture, but it doesn't list the items. $5 in my area. So I usually go and be like, okay, here's my tentative plan for food. So in the case of the hummus, I got a poblano pepper. So I'm using a poblano pepper instead of 2 to 3 jalapenos. And I left a few of the seeds in the poblano pepper because it's kind of in between. It's not as hot as a jalapeno. So I did want a little bit of flavor. So here is my roasted poblano pepper. So I'm just going to kind of break that up just a little bit. I did the roasting a couple hours ago, so I'm able to touch all this without a problem. Okay, my last 2 cloves of roasted garlic, and then cilantro. So I'm going to use probably half of this. Again, use the stems. They're perfectly good. And then I've got a little bit of cilantro for this week for various tasks. Always treat your cilantro as a bouquet. So I'll have to put this in a smaller one because it's got water in there to keep it fresh. And in this case, I'm going to add lime juice. So that's a teaspoon of lime juice. And then the seasoning for this one, you see the trend here? There's a little bit of seasoning. There's a little bit of acid, whether it was lemon juice or lime juice. And then we've got the ingredients to flavor it. So, and this time I'm going to use a chili lime seasoning. So that'll go with that lime juice. Okay. So there we go. And now we're going to get this one started. And I've got the extra aquafaba if we need it. So same thing on this one. So for mine, it looks like every time now we've done 2 90-second cycles. I'm pushing the puree on this Ninja. You just might need to see what your experiment with it. That took me a while to figure out which way was best. And that's how I figured it out. So please just test out your, what do you call it? Food processor. So we're going to go one more time. Okay, I had Joe helping me get set up for the tasting. Okay, so let's look at this one. Oh, it smells so good. Let me move this. So here's the cilantro and poblano pepper hummus. So it's looking fabulous. Perfect, perfect, perfect. So let's bring everything in. I'm going to show you how we're going to taste it. So the spinach artichoke dip, we've got here inside of our mushroom. So Joe just took it out. Let me get a new fork. Now he does not eat hummus, so I have to taste these myself, and I'm not complaining at all about that situation. So these are going to be hot. We can get you a good look there. Exactly. It's like you took the 2 best appetizers in the world and you put them together. Beyond awesome. The roasted red pepper and garlic one, I'm just going to use it as a dip for veggies. Perfect. So good. So, so good. Now, the last one, I wanted to show you how you could use hummus as a salad dressing. So I'm going to take a little bit of I happen to have this pineapple habanero vinegar, but you could use any vinegar. Shake it up a little bit. Excuse me. And I'm using the vinegar to thin it out so it can be a dressing. So then I got a little baby whisk here, little baby whisk to make it into, this is arugula, some frozen roasted corn that I defrosted, some green onions, and tomatoes. Simple, simple, simple side salad. And I'm just going to put this on as a dressing. Oh my gosh, this smells so good. I've been taste testing all day, so I'm getting very full. But we're going to give this a try because it's so good. You don't have to use arugula. I just like the pepperiness of arugula. Cilantro, the poblano pepper, the pineapple. It's all coming through. So there you have it. 3 hummuses, using it 3 different ways. The one way I didn't show you, which is another good way, is cook some pasta. If you have a little bit of any of the hummus left, drain your pasta, but save your pasta water. Use a little bit of your pasta water to thin out one of your hummuses, and you have a perfect pasta sauce and a great way to use up if you have just a little bit of hummus left. The reason you use the pasta water is because it's got the starch in there, and so it will help just make this more of a sauce versus just water mixed with hummus. So let me know in the comments which was your favorite hummus today and which one are you going to give it a try. If you like what you see and you want to like and subscribe, we'd really appreciate it. Have a great week.